Yeah. All right, peace and black power family. You already see what it is. You know what it is. We got I got my big brother back with us, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Got my big brother back with us, and we just gonna bring y'all some powerful information. You already see what the topic of this discussion is gonna be. It's called Pharaoh. Brother Pharaoh said that nobody can debate the prophecies, and I added the misunderstandings of the Bible. So I had to bring in my big brother to settle all this straight, man. We're gonna see what's going on. And I'm gonna just let him rock from there. Brother Pharaoh, introduce yourself to the people who may not know you, my brother. One more thing. I want to let everybody know, all my moderators know, be on the lookout. I have opened the floodgates last night. I opened the floodgates. I let everybody out of YouTube prison. So if we got any foolery, put them back in there for another year. Let them serve another year time. If they come in and they could be good, first what you do is, real quick, you hit them with like timeout. You hit them with a timeout. You give them 2 orders. You got a timeout. You got a timeout. The next time you see them abruptly, disruptly, and being disrespectful, you got the green light to just go ahead and block them. So we have opened the floodgates. We let everybody out of YouTube prison last night, and I had them in there for a good time too. So it's on y'all. Be on the lookout. I opened it up for all the weirdos that might be coming through. And without any further ado, I want to bring on my big brother, Brother Pharaoh. What's happening, brother?
Man, everything's good. I'm glad to be over here. So I know, anytime you call me, I'm coming. So it's a pleasure to be over here always, brother.
All right, man. So you already see what the topic of this discussion is going to be. And we're talking about nobody can debate prophecies. When we say things like that, what do you mean, brother? Go into that a little bit.
Okay, first I want to lay down some outline. I'm not a Christian. Okay, I'm Kemetic. I've been Kemetic since 1979. I come in under the teachers of the master Kemetic teacher, Sun Ra, who's been doing this back since the 20s. So I come under Sun Ra, and I come under Dr. Yosef Ben Johanan when it comes to the historical aspects. And so I don't want people to misunderstand that I'm representing Christianity, because the Bible's not a Christian book. So I'm finna blow y'all mind. See, the Bible is not a Christian book. The Christians have adapted something that's not theirs. They are claiming the Bible don't claim them. The word Christian is not in the Bible. Okay, so we're gonna kick it. We're gonna kick the facts. Let me lay down something to y'all. By the time you get to Christ, what you're dealing with is you're dealing with the part of the invasion of Africa. And the story about what they was going through with the Romans is the story of the Europeans as he's coming down to Africa. The first blacks he's going to encounter are what? The black people north of Kemet. And so they suffered that persecution as the Romans and Galatians and all of these Greeks were coming down to invade Africa. So when you read the New Testament, you're reading the invasion of Africa. That's what you're reading. So
all right, now, Brother Pharaoh, I want to let you know, we got to be careful what we say. You know, you got the pseudo squad out there, the MR.Pharaoh squad. You got Pharaoh. You got Brother Garfield on the lurk, looking and watching and seeing what we talk about. Whenever we have titles like this, you know, the squad is out there lurking to seeing what we're going to say.
Well,
so, brother,
those is babies, so they got to bow down to the king.
I agree.
Like when I was doing that, they were still on their mother's titty.
Oh man, like I agree.
I
agree, brother.
I'm the G. So they got to just sit down and listen to me. Like I don't got to listen to them unless they can go back. So you got 2 birthdays. You got the day you was born and you got the day you became conscious.
Yeah.
Now, I'm getting ready to be 62, but in consciousness, I'm 40. So if they ain't got 40 years consciousness, then it's a wrap.
Oh man, you already heard it. My big brother said it. One last thing I want to clear up, too, for my moderators. Moderators, it's all right if the family disagree. If they disagree respectfully, that's cool. You don't need to block nobody for them voicing their opinion in disagreement. But as long as they don't be F this and this nigga and it's, that's the type of language I'm talking about. So we want to clear it up and clean it up for 2020 going in here. Nobody is allowed to disrespect the guests that's on Sarnetta. All right. So we got to treat them with the utmost respect. That's why, because they take their time to come over here to give you the information. Although you may be above it, everybody is not above it. All of us don't know it. And so we want to just make sure that it's all right if they disagree. You ain't got to kick them out of there. All right. So with that, my brother Pharaoh, I want you to go ahead and start talking. Give us some intel on some of the prophecies you talking about nobody could debate. Like, what do you mean nobody could debate the prophecies of the Bible?
Okay. Well, let me lay down something first. People are going to get emotional over this conversation. So let me lay that down first to show you where that's messed up at. The emotions of this conversation come from the ideology that the Bible conquered us, that we are oppressed under the Bible, which is false. We were conquered with the Gatling gun and the cannon. And by the time the white man read your book back to you, you was already conquered. But the reason you're taught that you are conquered by the Bible is because if you're taught you're conquered by the Bible, you will try to come up with books to match the Bible. Whereas if you were taught you were conquered by the Gatling gun, y'all would get off y'all weak asses and get some military. So you ain't got no military. We was conquered physically through force physically and shot down. All y'all experts, historians, that you should know about the Matabele in South Africa, how they were gunned down with the Gatling gun. So the invasion of Africa was all military and all physical with weaponry. Nobody conquered us with no book, bro. They shot us, okay? So cut it out like somebody came in with a book. And, this don't even make sense that they came down to Africa with books, because many of them didn't even believe in the Bible. When you talk about the Danes was against Christianity and against the British. So not everybody that even came into Africa, the Vikings and them wasn't under no Bible, bro. So just keep it real. So you all get emotional. And the reason people get emotional is because the Christians have adapted the Bible, and Christianity has a bunch of false dogma. And that dogma is associated with the Bible, even though the Bible does not uphold that dogma.
Wasn't the Bible introduced to us during the times of slavery?
No, only certain verses. Okay. See, when people say the Bible, that's false. What the white man did is he took certain verses and only read certain verses to work what he wanted to work on us. He didn't read us the Bible because there's things in the Bible against slavery. He read certain chapters, certain verses, which if you read a verse out of there, you can misinterpret that. The Bible is the only book that people read verses and say they read the book. When they say they read The Destruction of Black Civilization, they read the whole book. When they said they read Dr. Ben, The African Origin of the Three Major Western Religions, they read the whole book. But all them brothers on here that want to talk to me, they even haven't read the Bible. So don't try to debate me, bro. You have not read the Bible. Therefore, you're not a scholar on the Bible. Unless you go from Genesis to Revelation thoroughly, you ain't qualified to debate me because you're debating me on something you haven't read, which makes you more like the preacher than me, because the preacher bounces around. The preacher does not preach the Bible. The preacher go, Peter, First Peter this. Then he jumps, Galatians this. And then he jumps. And that ain't the Bible. You have to go through the entire Bible to really know what you're looking at and what you're reading. Many books in the Bible don't even have religious talk. Like the book of Numbers is all numbers. It has no religious connotation. Some books are about wars. Books of Proverbs is all good, like lessons. Like a man shouldn't be with a hoe, a man shouldn't be a drunk. So when people say the Bible, right there, I got you. You lost, because there is no Bible. The Bible is a group of books put together.
Was the Bible there before slavery?
Was the Bible where before slavery?
Let's say, was the Bible with us before slavery? Did we have hold of the Bible before the slavery took place, before they conquered us in Africa?
We wrote the Bible. We wrote it.
Okay.
We wrote it. We wrote the Bible. That's our knowledge. What they did was, while we were going around with the gospel, they conquered us. They grew their hair out. They got on their pirate ships and imitated us. If you look at the white man, he's the god of Egypt. He emulates us. Nothing he does comes from nowhere. Everything he does, he took it from us.
All right, but see, this is what I want to clear up though, Pharaoh. When we say we wrote the Bible, it gives the intention like we talking about this King James stuff. We did not have nothing to do with this because it's translated with King James. The Bible we wrote don't exist no more, Pharaoh. That's what I'm saying.
Well, like I said,
this stuff that we reading today ain't got nothing to do with us. But the Bible that we wrote, we can't find that Bible.
Like I said, they came in and emulated what we wrote. They went and they changed it up, but they didn't know what to take out and what to leave in there. Therefore, they couldn't take the knowledge out. The knowledge is still in there because King James and them didn't know what they was reading either. So they left most of the knowledge in there. If they would have known what they was reading, they would have took the part out to say, in the last days, a man will look like a woman and a woman will look like a man. So all your expert scholars out there, true or false? Let's debate the prophecy. The Bible says in the last days, a man will look like a woman and a woman will look like a man. True or false? And nigga, if it's true, shut up. I'm the boss. Is it true? Debate the prophecy. Is that true? Is that true?
It's true only if this is the last days.
Is it true? Do men look like women and women look like men? Listen, Pete Gang, when I first brought that up in school as a kid, men wasn't getting sexual organs transplanted or nothing. So since early in the 60s when they was talking about, look how further we've come to that revelation, to the point where men actually, a preacher back in the day when they used to say that, they say, oh yeah, because men got long hair. They didn't even have good examples to use for that prophecy. But now when you look at transsexuals, you can honestly say that it's more true than ever before. In the last days, there'll be a cashless society. Uber's cashless. Everybody got a debit card and a credit card. Is it true or false? Are we headed to a cashless society? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exactly. All that's prophecy. All that's prophecy. And all those prophecies we wrote all of that stuff. See? But when people say, did we have the Bible? That's what I'm trying to say. We didn't have the Bible. We had Genesis. The Bible was made because nobody could read it. The Bible was not made to corrupt people. The Bible was put together because Genesis was this thick, Exodus was this thick, Leviticus was this thick, and kids used to go off to monasteries at 9 or 10 years old and spend their whole life and couldn't read it. So people decided to make some cliff notes, just a quick run through to make it so people could go through it. Because if you had the original text, everybody say it's not original. If it was original, you couldn't read it. You wouldn't have not been able to read the original text because it was too much for one man to read. So the ideology of chopping it down was not to mislead people. It was just to give you, the Bible's nothing but cliff notes. That's not the full book of Genesis. But if you had the full book of Genesis, you couldn't read it. You would not be able to read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers if you had the full book. Each one would be like this. So the Bible was cut down so the common people could just get a quick cliff notes on what it used to say. And the Bible is not a religious book. The Bible is the history of a Black family and their travels. It's the history of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and what they believed. It was never meant for you to believe what they believe. It's like if I wrote a book about Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan and Malcolm, then I would talk about Islam because that's a part of their life. It wouldn't mean that I'm actually trying to convert you to Islam. I'm just telling you the history of Elijah, that he was into Islam. So the Bible is just telling you what Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and them believed. Christians took that and trying to make you believe the assumption of what they believe. And furthermore, there is no Christian ideology. Lutherans are but under Martin Luther. Catholics are under St. Thomas Aquinas. You scholars don't want to get this work. Y'all niggas that get this work, y'all not ready. Y'all don't know none of this. So there is no Christian ideology. There's Catholic ideology. There's Lutheran ideology, Episcopalian. None of that's alike. And none of that comes out the Bible. No Christian teachings come out the Bible. All Christian teachings come from their dogma that is developed by their Christian faith. The Bible don't say none of that stuff they saying. What the preachers is preaching, the Bible don't say that.
Is there a God and the devil that have anything to do with this book? Because we know in the Bible, it talks about God, it talks about the devil, it talks about God have inspired man to write the book. Is there a God that have anything to do with this Bible?
There is a God and there is a devil. They have different terms, but there is good and evil. When your boy that you trust, that you love, and you leave him at your house and he try to fuck your wife, you cannot tell me ain't no devil. You niggas is full of devils. Something is in you. Something is in you to make you do corrupt shit. So don't try to tell me it's not no evil energy out here, especially the way y'all acting on the internet. Okay.
Hey, real quick. Right. Try not the profanity.
Okay.
Because because I labeled it as kids.
All right, cool. Listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, there is a positive energy and there is a negative energy. We know that from Haru and Set. But the Kemetic people that don't believe in the Bible also don't believe in the God of Kemet. Uh-oh, did I just say that? So y'all don't even believe in your own gods.
Say that again. Say that again.
The Kemetic brothers, you scholars that don't believe in the God in the Bible, you also don't believe that Osiris came to the planet and bought you grapes and taught you agriculture. You don't believe that Tahuti taught you writing. You're listening to, a tour guide, okay, that come up under Dr. Ben that's giving you misinterpretations because the gods of Kemet are real too, baby. Yeah, the gods of Kemet are real. That's not symbolism. Okay, Haru was a real being. Okay, these were real beings, but the people that seen them originally, by the time you get into the future, the younger Kemetic people didn't see them. Only those that was there when they landed and designed those buildings seen them and drew them. As you get into later dynasties, all they had was the pictures. So they don't know that these gods is real. See, so you black people don't even honor your own mysticism. If Haru is not real, why are you teaching it? If Osiris did not come to this planet and bring us agriculture, then throw it in the garbage, bro. Throw your Kemetic stuff in the garbage. You don't believe it. Don't say, oh, it's symbolism. Just say it's fake. See, you Kemetic brothers will say, oh, the Christian Bible's fake. But you don't believe there was a Haru, but you won't say it's fake. Okay, all your Kemetic stuff is fake too. It's all a bunch of hogwash, and all those guys are unreal, okay? And the Medunetter is a joke, and all your stuff is a joke. So you all don't come up under Sunrise where you was taught that these things was real, that these gods and these Lord gods were real beings that now they happen to call aliens and extraterrestrials. Because one reason that you don't believe in extraterrestrials, because you don't know that you also look strange. We're so used to looking at each other in this form with this nose and this, that we just think we're regular people. When we put on a snow gear to come out when it's cold, we don't know that's a spacesuit. We don't know that we adapt to atmospheres. We don't understand that. When we see airplanes and stuff like that, we don't know that that's cosmic knowledge that taught us how to make a plane to be able to fly from New York to California. That takes a certain amount of science, okay, that you're taking for granted. You're taking for granted your greatness of where you really come from. And so this is why you don't overstand the Bible. You don't overstand nothing. You don't overstand nothing that you're teaching. You'll say there was no Set in Haru. It's just some stuff. But you say there is no God in the Bible. You want to get rid of the Bible. But when you say there is no Set in Haru, You don't want to get rid of your Kemetic stuff. I say for all you brothers, if you want to throw the Bible in the garbage, throw your Kemetic stuff in the garbage. Same garbage, according to you. It's all fake, right? Is Kemet real or is it fake? No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that Oswald crazy nonsense. Oswald, is it real or is it fake? Keep it real. I want to hear all this symbolism. Symbolism means fake in the hood, bootleg, pseudo. So according to y'all, the whole Kemetic teacher is pseudo. Why are we wasting our time reading about Set and Heru? Why are we wasting our time reading about them? They don't exist according to you all. They don't exist.
Okay, now, Pharaoh, you said a lot of stuff, man. Mm-hmm. And I know the Kemetic teachers out there, the scholars out there, the Jabaris out there, the
my children, my kids,
and the Dr. Your little boys out there,
kids, yeah,
and the Dr. Reggies that's out there. They hear you saying that Heru was real.
Yeah.
He was a real being. What about Asar? What about ISIS?
Real.
They hear you saying that these
real
beings
real
teach.
Because I study under Sunrise, not them. They don't know nothing. Sunrise the master teacher. Jabari is a schoolboy. He's not. He's just a school kid looking at something and looking at fake stuff and trying to paint you a fake story on some symbolism of your own real history. So no, they're not on my level. Them is babies right there. They gotta go get their bottle, get their Similac, and sit their ass down. You know, they gotta go sit down. You know, because they're not teaching the facts. The facts is that we come from higher beings. That we came to this planet and we what they call change the atmosphere on this planet to make it so that we can live here. You know, they doing it on Mars now, where they're trying to get Mars where it will rain. It's called terraforming, Jabari. You know about terraforming? Terraforming is the exact story in Genesis. The exact story in Genesis is terraforming, where you cause it to rain, where you split the atmosphere to cause it to rain. We talking cosmic knowledge now. Y'all can't hide with them little baby books. It's the big leagues now. It's the big leagues. I know y'all been over here with that baby stuff. You're in the big league. You're in the big leagues right now. Walter Williams from Chicago didn't know what he was talking about. He's obsolete. So say me. Walter Williams didn't know what he's talking about. And he was at the Sunrise shows pretending he was with the business, but he wasn't representing what Sunrise was teaching us. Not at all. Understand the master teacher of this is Sunrise, not none of y'all. That's a fact, and space is the place. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Man,
who won't smoke?
I love my big brother, boy. He goes in.
Who won't smoke?
He don't be holding no punches. He goes in. So let me ask you, you know, there are people in the comment. Do you have another window open where you can see the comment section?
No, I don't see
Well, there's some brothers in the comments saying, man, he's a Hebrew. This guy's a Hebrew. Are you a Hebrew, brother?
Yeah, I'm a Hebrew too. I'm a Kemetic Hebrew, Atlantean Egyptian spaceman. We are mixed blood. Anybody think that Hebrews only slept with Hebrews and Black Kemetic people only slept with Black Kemetic people, you're a dummy. Black men like sex. And if a girl look good, he gonna sleep with her. Moses married an Ethiopian. And so the bloodline is mixed. Y'all both Shem and him, okay? So miss me with that. Ben had mixed blood. Ben had mixed blood. There's no proof that you're really just a Kemetic or you're just a Hebrew. There's no proof that the Hebrews are Shemitic. They have no proof that they're from Shem. That's just talk. They just guess it. Okay? Our bloodline have been mixed. And so, yes, I'm everything on this planet. Everything on this planet that's Black come from one. Okay? So people want to say I'm a Hebrew, but I'm kicking Kemetic facts. We can go Kemet. And Kemet, if you look at Kemet, it's the same thing that you see in the scriptures. The scriptures is the next level after Kemet. It's the next level of beings. If you read Genesis chapter 1, it says, let us make man in our image, male and female. This is the Most High Creator in the form of male and female. Okay? So now this Creator made these Lord gods, male and female in our image. One of those Lord gods is the one that went and took the slime from the earth and created Adam. And then took the rib from the woman and made Eve. There's two creations in the Bible. There's creation in chapter 1, where it says, let us make man in our image, male and female. They were made at the exact same time. You don't get Adam and Eve is in chapter 2, and that was the Lord God. If you look at the scriptures close, the word Lord God is not mentioned until you get to chapter 2. In chapter 1, it only says God. God and the Lord God are not the same being. God made the Lord gods, and one of the Lord gods formed Adam and Eve. And then when they breeded, the sons of God slept with the daughters of men, and that's who y'all are. Y'all are half God, half man. But that's way over your head because you ain't taught the true Kemetic teachings. As the early Kemetic people, the first thing you was taught is you read the Quran, you read the Bible, and you read the Egyptian book of the dead. That's Kemetic teachings, number 1. Number 2 is Amen up, down, and Atan up. So the Amen Ra squad, Amen was devils. So of course, Amen was demonic.
Oh, man.
Amen down, Atan up. I'm El Atan. Fireborn, Amen.
So you saying that the Amen-Ra squad don't even know what they talking about?
They don't even know what they dealing with.
They don't even know they worshiping the devil, you saying?
They worshiping the priest. It's funny they're against religion because the Amen deity was all about the priest.
That's true.
The priest was exploiting the people in Kemet. And that's why Akhenaton came and knocked all that down. And the Amen was so evil that when the white man went to invade Kemet, Seti, wouldn't even fight for Akhenaton and let the white man conquer Kemet and lied and said Akhenaton let him kill. No, it was the Amen-Ra squad that wouldn't fight for their king that let the white man come in and take Kemet, okay? Keep the facts straight.
Damn, that's powerful right there,
who wants to smoke?
You bringing it out, baby.
Okay, so Amen was negative because they was making people go through the priest. Akhenaton said, you ain't got to go through no priest. The Most High is like the sun. It's for everybody that you can deal with God without going to a church or a synagogue.
Well, Unc and them is coming for your head on this one,
bro. Man, they babies. They can't even reach my head. How you gonna get my head when you're down in my ankles?
Oh,
can't even reach my head. They can't even reach my head. That stuff they talking is nonsense. Okay, they don't know what they talking about. Okay. We ain't come from no monkeys either. That's monkey business. Hello? All that's nonsense, them babies. They got to shut up and they got to listen to what I'm telling them. I'm telling them the facts. And the facts is that we come from gods.
Now,
we don't even come from Kemet. We come from Atlantis. And Africa. Yeah. No, go ahead.
But in all fairness, everybody always get it wrong when they say we don't come from no monkeys. The Amen-Ra squad never teach that, Brother Pharaoh. They say we have a common ancestor, and you can't deny that we have a common ancestor.
Man, we ain't got no ancestors with no monkeys, man. Monkeys are still monkeys. A monkey gonna be a monkey's still a monkey. A monkey's a monkey. If we got common ancestors with a monkey, that's bestiality, bro. Something that our mans would teach. Our mans would teach to sleep with monkeys. Because see, if you common with some, you're gonna sleep with them. No, a dog is a dog, a monkey is a monkey, an elephant is an elephant, and I'm a god. I'm not a monkey, and I ain't got nothing to do with no monkeys, okay? Me and monkeys is two different things, okay? That's monkey business, okay? We don't deal with that. I ain't no monkey, okay? So that's out of here. What, we rats too? Why'd you pick that animal? You know what, we squirrels?
The General Sarah Seti has said one time that the Bible is nothing more than an anti-African book, and Captain Tazoriak agreed with him. What is your take on that, brother?
That said he don't know what he's talking about.
And General and Captain Tazoriak, he agreed.
Don't know what he's talking about either. Don't know what he's talking about. It ain't no anti-African book. That's all nonsense.
So the Bible don't talk against Africa or black people.
No.
Okay.
No, the whole idea, you know, what they used to teach in the white church, they teach that Noah cursed Ham, right?
Right.
And black, check it out, Sonetta. They say Noah cursed Ham. And the white people taught that since they cursed Ham, black people is cursed, right? But check it out. Noah didn't curse Ham, he cursed Canaan. and Ham had 3 other sons. So if I got some other sons and you curse one of them and the other one's black, you're trying to tell me all black people is cursed because he cursed one? Plus, God didn't fulfill all them curses they saying in the Bible. Okay? Tazariak ain't got no knowledge. What that meant is the father just said, boy, you ain't gonna be nothing. How many times my father said that? It didn't mean that the curse went through. When they in the Bible, when they say curse your son, it just meant he talked bad about him. It doesn't mean that the curse actually God sanctioned the curse. The Hebrews teach that one brother covered himself up with fur to emulate the other brother, and the daddy blessed him. And you're trying to tell me God sanctioned the blessing? See, it's misinterpretations by the Bible. There's no proof that God sanctioned none of that stuff. God never came in the Bible and said, I sanctioned this. This is man making stuff up from what he read. God ain't said none of that. There is no anti-black. Solomon say, I am black, but calmly. The Bible is not anti-black. The Bible is anti-Roman, anti-Galatian. Samson was not fighting black people. He was fighting Philistines. Get your facts straight, okay? Christ was crucified by Romans, not by black people. So how is it anti-black? When Christ had to run with Mary, they went to Kemet. Listen, if it's a difference between Hamites and Shemites, and the white man wanted to kill Christ, why would he go to Egypt? He wouldn't be able to hide. He went to Egypt because he looked just like the Egyptians. Duh. How would Christ hide in Egypt if he don't look like all the other black people? So he went where all the other black people was to hide.
You killing it right
now. You understand? So all that's misinterpretation. Everybody that want to argue with me with the white man about the Bible, here's the fact. All them brothers out there that's want to argue with me with the Bible, they are the ones brainwashed by the white man. And they believe, and they are rebelling against the white man's version of this story. So they're brainwashed themselves. Every example they'll use is the white man's version of what they white daddy told Jabari. He taking what his white daddy told him to debate the Bible. He not debating it from a black man's point of view. He debating it from what his white daddy taught him. But his white daddy taught him wrong.
I got somebody for you, brother. I got somebody for you that's on your level. And he's I think about y'all the same age. He go by the name of Brother Khalid Omani. I think Khalid Omani will give you a run for your money.
Nah, he is
dealing with this Bible.
How long you been doing it? How long you been doing this?
Y'all about the same age. He's like 60-something years old.
Yeah, but how long he been doing this? Because he could be 60. Man. Listen, he could be doing 60, but he might have just started when he was 50.
No, he comes out of the Yahweh ben Yahweh cult. So he comes out of that camp. And yeah, man, he might give you a run for your money on this right here.
Nah, he'll get 8. He'll get 8 like eager food. I eat dude.
All right, so go ahead, brother. So why should we accept the Bible? Why should we accept this Bible? What is it going to do for us?
I don't believe that you should accept the Bible. I think you should just read it. I'm not into accepting nothing. If
you saying just read it, do you apply it to your life? What?
Do I apply it to my life? If you read something in there that makes sense, most of the stuff I apply to my life comes out the book of Proverbs. So I can't say accept the Bible because there's no such thing as the Bible.
So some people accept the whole book. Is that foolish when you say?
No, they don't accept the whole book. They say that, but they haven't read the whole book. 99.9.
We talking about like Hebrew Israelites and all.
99.9% of Hebrew Israelites do not read the Bible.
Okay.
They just skip back and forth.
I agree with you.
They don't read the Bible. They just have a brothers out there, read, and a brother, and so, now read, and he flipped to something else. They ain't read no Bible.
Right.
99.9% of the people that deal with the Bible have not read it for themselves. Okay? People have not read it for themselves. So I tell black people, read it for yourself. Another question you get is, don't the Bible contradict itself? No, because there's no Bible. Okay, Isaiah is not going to say what Mark say. We just stupid. So people read what Isaiah
Pharaoh, man, you got it. You walking on some glass right now, brother. When
No,
you say
I'm
the
not.
Bible,
No, I'm not.
when
No.
you say the Bible
y'all
don't
walking on
contradict
glass.
itself.
I am walking on glass because the people I'm stepping on is fragile. So y'all stepping on glass.
I don't really hold on. I don't really want to bring you into my interrogation room, brother, because you my big brother. I don't want to do this to you, man. When you say that the Bible does not contradict itself, man,
I didn't say that.
Okay, what did you say?
I said that the Bible, when people say the Bible contradicts itself, that don't make sense because there is no such thing as the Bible. Each book is its own book. And if Isaiah says something, that doesn't mean that Mark, Luke, and John is going to say what Isaiah said. So that's why I tell you they haven't read it, Sarnetta. Why would you expect Daniel in the Old Testament to say the same thing that Mark say thousands of years later in the New Testament when they don't know each other and somebody took the books and put the books together? So if somebody took books and put them together, why would you think they would match? Those books don't belong together. See what I'm saying? So those books have nothing to do with each other. Somebody put books they found together. And because they put together, people say the Bible and why these books put together don't match. But they're not in unison. They're their own book. The book of Revelation is the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation has nothing to do with the book of Genesis. The only books that relate are the books that keep telling the same story, like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. That's why the Jews only read the first 5 books, because the first 5 books are all relatable. Once you leave those books, you're dealing with whole different prophets and different people that wrote something different. There is no Bible. That's why I came here to try to teach Black people. There is no such thing as the Bible. The Bible is a collection of books. The Bible is not a book, okay? The Bible would be like if you took Chancellor Williams' book and Dr. Ben's book and Diop's book and put them all in one book. That's the Bible. So the debate be off because brothers be debating the Bible as if it's one book, and it's not. That's what I'm here to teach Black people. It's not one book. You have to read each book as its own, and it only stands on what it stands on. Many of the books don't even refer to the same thing. Like the book of Numbers is just Numbers. It's nothing like Revelation. Revelation is nothing like Matthew. Matthew is nothing like Daniel. Daniel is nothing like Solomon. Why would Daniel say the same thing Solomon said? That don't make sense. But because we call it the Bible, we have been brainwashed to think it's one book. It's not. It's a collection of books, and it's the short cliff notes of these collections of these books. So debating the whole thing put together is nonsense. You have to debate each book. That's it.
Should we be reading this book and taking it literal?
Most of it is literal, like wars and stuff like that. See, the preacher jumps around with a whole bunch of hocus pocus, so the average person haven't read it. Most of the stuff is in there. He went into a land with some different dudes, and he had to hide his wife. There's really not a whole lot of religious stuff in the Bible. It's just basic stuff. It's really not nothing to disbelieve that a man went into a land and they wanted to sleep with his wife. I mean, what's disbelievable about that? But people pick out the same verses all the time, and they use Christian dogma, and people get Christian dogma messed up with the Bible. What they say about Jesus, the Bible don't say none of that, what Christians say about Jesus. The Bible don't say none of that. The Bible don't say none of that. Nobody talks about what Christ actually said. You ever notice that, Sarnetta?
Right.
They always talk about their interpretations, but they never talk about what the man said. The man said that you got the weeds and you got the wheat, and instead of out there whacking the weeds, wait till the food get ready and harvest the food and leave the weeds.
Hey, real quick. Shout out to my girl, Clyde Diva, in the audience. I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I got what you sent me. I appreciate that, Clyde Diva. Thank you.
If you don't,
go ahead.
If you don't read the Bible, you can't understand Kemet at all. Because when the Hebrews went into Kemet, that's how they learned how to write, or they wouldn't have had no Bible. They learned how to write in Kemet. Moses was a Pharaoh, and Moses learned how to write in Kemet. And that's how he was able to have his people, his scribes, write those first 5 books. As a matter of fact, the Pharaoh and Joseph saved the world because Joseph had a vision a drought was coming, and the Pharaoh had Joseph interpreted his dream, and the Pharaoh took what Joseph said and built silos and saved the world. And that's how the Hebrews got in Kemet. So the Hebrews is on some phony stuff because they put Joseph in a hole and sold their own brother, but they hate Kemet. No, Hebrew brother, you sold your brother. And some people took your brother and sold him in Kemet. And the woman in Kemet, Pharaoh's wife, Sinetta, tell me this sound like a lie. Pharaoh's wife said Joseph tried to sleep with her. That sound fake? Hey, how fake that sound, Sinetta? Be honest.
Yeah,
Don't
that
that
don't
sound like
sound
something
fake.
still happened today, right?
Yeah, that's happening today. You already know.
So he said Joseph tried to sleep with her. So the Pharaoh threw Joseph in the dungeon. Then the Pharaoh was having crazy dreams. He said, I can't interpret these dreams. But Joseph was cool. So the guards and everybody said, you should holler at Joseph.
Well, I'm going to let you know, Pharaoh, this is the smartest chat room on YouTube, man. And I think you're going to have to come a little stronger than this. I don't think you winning the people over on this one right here.
Listen, let me tell you something.
They tired of the Bible. And,
let me tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
brother.
not a people winner over. I don't care about them.
All right.
I don't care. This called Pharaoh said that. This ain't called they said nothing. So
I'm gonna tell you, one of your biggest fans is Black Jesus Minister. He's up in here.
I don't care nothing about what they think. I'm free in their mind. The reason they tired of the Bible because they never read it. They never read it. So how you tired of something you haven't read? Mm-hmm. How are you a scholar? Before you can reject something, you have to read it for yourself. And then when you read it for yourself, then you're qualified to say, I'm tired of it. But to go by some preacher preaching on a thing and then blame the Bible because of the preacher is wrong. You black people are wrong. You're blaming the Bible. The Bible didn't do nothing to y'all. The preacher did all that. The preacher doing all that misinterpretation and all them lying. Imagine if you was a book and somebody took you and somebody misinterpreted you and said all kind of stuff in your name, and then everybody hated you, but you didn't say none of that. That's what the Bible getting a beating for people. The Bible ain't said none of that. Bible ain't did none of y'all. The Bible ain't asked y'all for no money to build no church school wing, to build a church. The Bible ain't took y'all money. Preacher took y'all money. But y'all want to blame the Bible.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all know.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna let our brother Pharaoh go in, my big brother go in for a little more, and then I'm gonna open up the lines. Where y'all can ask him some questions. Right. But remember, just keep it respectful. You can disagree. Nah, not on here though, because
what I'm trying to teach them. I'm not trying to teach them to love the Bible.
Right.
I'm not into that. I'm trying to just let them know that they've been brainwashed to hate Christian dogma and preachers, and they're blaming the Bible for the interpreters of the Bible. That's all I'm trying to let them know. That you're blaming the Bible for the interpretation of it. Like people saying, oh, the Bible got us waiting to go to heaven. The Bible never said that. The preacher said that, man. The Bible ain't told you to wait and go no heaven. Moses and them was fighting all the time. What are you talking about? You know how many wars black people was in the Bible? We was fighting.
Okay, so now this is where you're getting me at. And I'm gonna need you to see if you can show us where you can show us this thing here. Are you telling us that David, Aaron, Michael, Peter, Paul, Jacob, Moses, are these real people, sir?
Yes. Yes.
How come none of the bodies have never been found? Even till this day, you can't find no skeletons, but you can go way back into Kemet and you can still see the skeletons and the bones over there.
I am so glad.
Look at you, brother.
I am so glad you asked me that. That is one of the most ridiculous questions ever. Check this out, son.
Go ahead.
The Egyptians are famous because they were some of the only people that preserved bodies. Why would you ask for people that didn't preserve bodies why they ain't got preserved bodies? That don't even make no sense.
But yes, it do, because let me tell you why. Because here's a big prominent figure who y'all call Jesus. Here's a man who y'all call Moses, who parted the seas. Jesus walked on water, all these miracles. But you telling me that it is nonsense to have some type of information where we could prove to the people that this man existed.
Yes, it's nonsense.
That this man was real.
Yes,
hold on.
Okay.
Here's a man that died and God had brought back to life. And you telling me that it's not cool to just have anything to show facts that he had been here on the planet before. You saying that that's nonsense, brother?
Yeah, that's nonsense, because comparing nomadic people, Hebrews, to people that had an established kingdom is nonsense. The Kemetic people had established kingdoms, had buildings. The Hebrews were nomadic, and the Hebrews was under the Romans. The Romans ain't gonna kill no nigga and keep no evidence of their enemy. Why would the Romans preserve, bro? Why would anybody preserve, though? Those people were not preservers. So it's like asking why a pygmy is not dressed like a Watusi. It's like the Egyptians preserved bodies. It's an unfair analysis to take the many of Black people and then say why there's no evidence of them when they don't have a history or the buildings or the structure to even do anything. They're not even known for that. So anybody thinks that Romans would crucify a brother and then save him, but I can tell you this, for $10,000, I can prove Christ was alive, put up 10 racks. Tell your scholar, put up 10 racks, don't be scared. I can prove it's a Christ, for Christ was here. I can prove Christ was here, 100%. I can prove.
Are you going to use the same word, Christ or Joshua?
Well, I call him the Christ, but
okay.
His name was Joshua ben Yosef, Joshua son of Joseph.
Joshua ben Dara?
Yosef.
Okay.
Or it's different interpretations, because you understand different people lived in different lands and they pronounced the names different. So people live here are going to pronounce it this way and that. But the thing is, the idea that somebody would preserve.
Somebody said real quick, somebody said in the chat room, Sar, you know you listen to gossip music. And I'm going to tell you, that is true. I do listen to gossip music. I think the gospel singers are one of the most best powerful singers that I've listened to, because I like to listen to the vocals. And when I hear the vocals, I mean, even healthier women, like bigger women, when I see them, I mean, they vocals be off the chain, man. I love listening. I do listen to gospel music. That don't mean I got to believe in it, but I listen to it because I love listening to music and I love the singers. And I got an ear for good music. So when I hear somebody really going in and blowing, I love it, man. Sometimes that shit bring a tear to my eye. I'm not saying I'm crying literally, but it just bring a tear. Like, y'all never had that feeling where it just comes over your body. And like, for example, when you hear Patti LaBelle sing gospel, that don't bring chills to your body. It brings it to mine. I'll be like, God damn, Patti LaBelle. So yes, I do listen to gospel music. I listen to all of it, man. I'm sorry, Pharaoh. Go ahead. Okay. I just had to answer that.
You know what matches that? Where they looking for the bodies? Where's the slave ships? Like somebody would have had the knowledge back then to say, we need to save these slave ships because Pharaoh and them gonna want to see them in 400 years from now. Like, who would have saved the slave ship? Like, some of the stuff we be saying, it'd be totally ridiculous. Nobody would have thought to preserve Black people other than the Egyptians. That's what they're famous for. The reason Egyptians are famous, because they're the only people that mastered preserving bodies. So you're going to ask me, where's a preserved Watusi? Where's a preserved Maasai? Like, seriously? Like, they're not known for that. So that's an unfair comparison, because the Hebrews didn't have great buildings and things like that. Solomon did, but the Hebrews were more of a nomadic people. In Africa, we had people that lived stable and we had people that were nomadic. And the people that lived stable had one type of lifestyle, and the people that moved around, they was herdsmen and stuff. They moved around like cowboys in America originally moved around. Cowboys didn't stay stationary. So they always ask, it blows my mind. I said, Black people are so slow. We're so emotional. that we want a Hebrew to save a body like Egyptian. And we don't even know how stupid that sounds. It's like Egyptians had great societies way before the Hebrews even came there. When they had the food when they came there. So to think that some people that had to come to Egypt to eat would be up on the level of the Egyptians, it's mind-boggling. And that just shows you that we get so caught up emotionally that we start making irradical comparisons without thinking it through. It's like, no, those brothers would not have big monuments. Their way of life wouldn't even had them worship buildings and build idols and stuff like that. They were totally against that. So Hebrews never would have had big buildings like the Kemetic people and big buildings of gods and preserved bodies like that. A lot of times those people got buried out in the wilderness with not even no marker for their graves. These are poor people. When you look at Christ, Christ was invaded by the Romans and was murdered by the Romans. He was not great. Christ was murdered. He was number 13. It was 12 disciples and him, which makes him number 13 because he would never be number 1. And he was killed on Friday the 13th. The black people said Friday the 13th is bad luck. The white people say this is Good Friday. And that's why they ain't got no 13th floor in their building, because it represents that black man. Why you think white people scared of 13, son? Another? Ask all them smart dudes that. Why is a white man scared of number 13? Because it's the number of that brother. They killed that brother. They murdered our brother. That was our brother. He never did nothing wrong. Everybody talking about it's a fake story. So it's a fake story that a black woman got to have her baby in a barn? Sound real to me. Sound like racism to me. That Mary couldn't even have her baby in the end. The sister had to go have the baby in the barn. That is a black story.
I already know after this show, people going to be hitting me up. Sonetta, you got to get me and this brother on. We got to have a build. So, I mean, hey, from there, family, I want to go to the phone lines. Is that all right, Brother Pharaoh?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I want to go to the phone lines. Y'all already know, if any of my moderators know my number, my Google number, of course, not my number, man. Y'all post that in there. Let me throw it in there for y'all. And we could get these callers up and have the people call in.
Right.
Let's get it in now. The phone lines are now open. Let's go.
Free smoke. Who wants some smoke? Come on, get this smoke. Oh, phone there, Greg.
Where you at, Dr. Reggie? Come on, man.
And when Reggie get on there, I want to say something to him before you start. Okay.
Yeah, he might not come on. He might not. He probably outside somewhere. He don't even know I'm live, probably.
Okay.
All right, come on, family. The number is right there in the chat. Let's get it in.
Yeah, tell him come get this smoke, get this work.
All right. Peace and black power to you, Black Jesus. But for the people, what's your name and where you calling from? Yo, you there? Hold on.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. What's happening, brother? Talk to me.
What's happening? This is your boy, Black Jesus Minister, balling and falling all the way from Houston, Texas, the Ecclesiastes Street Christian.
All right.
Brother Pharaoh, Elder Pharaoh, how you feel?
Yes,
look here, brother. I don't want no smoke from you, brother. I'm here to support you, brother. I love the hell out of you, brother. You hear me?
I hear you, brother.
Man, look here, brother. Let me say something real quick, brother. First of all, I've been following you for a little while now, and I'm going to continue to sit at your feet, Elder, and learn from you, dear brother. I'm so glad. I've been begging Sonetta to have you on this program.
That's true. That is true, Pharaoh. He always called me, yo, son, you got to get Pharaoh back. You got to bring him back on. That is true.
Man, I'm so goddamn giddy. It ain't even funny. But look here, man. Listen, I just want to say, brother, I appreciate you, and I want to tell the people all over the goddamn world and all over the God-blessed world, y'all better, if you are Kemetic and you want a real teacher that's going to teach you the full truth, the full Kemetic truth, the truth, what I've been saying for a long time, that we are Christian, that we are Kemetic, and that we are Israelite, we are all together. We've been mixing up from day one. You know, stop all this madness, bro, and all this goddamn division, brothers and sisters. That's why I've been saying that I am Kemetic, I am Christian, I'm Israelite. The same thing Pharaoh been saying it, but he been saying it longer than me because he been around longer than me. You hear me? The truth is universal, brothers and sisters. And I want to say to everybody, if you are into Jabari and every Kemetic brother and sister who's in the Black conscious community and connected to HOK, you guys need to follow Brother Pharaoh and let this brother be your elder and your supreme elder and supreme teacher, because he is the supreme Kemetic teacher on the planet right now. I don't know nobody that can compare to this man. This man's knowledge is vast. My goodness. And let me tell you something, brother. I love you, and I pray that the 2020 will bless you even the more, dear brother. And I am pleading to Brother Jabbar and any other Kemetic brother and sister, you guys make sure that y'all find Brother Pharaoh's channel. Pharaoh Said That on Chicago on YouTube. Subscribe to this brother's channel. Support his ministry. Support this man in every way you can. Sit down at this brother's feet and learn the truth, brothers and sisters. And let this trade come through. Let it come through. Because we're all the same people who came off to the same goddamn slave ship, and all of these divisions got to die in the name of Black Jesus.
Check it out, son.
Brother Pharaoh.
All right.
Brother Pharaoh, thank you, brother,
all right,
for being here and bless the people.
All right. I want to mention this before you get somebody else. Between the Old Testament and the New Testament, there's some books in there. And the reason that we don't get the Maccabees, the books of the Maccabee, is because when the whites came down and was fighting us, they started pushing the Hebrews further south. And in the book of the Maccabees, it shows that the Egyptians and the Hebrews and the Ethiopians was all fighting the Romans and them together. This is the part in between the Old Testament and New Testament and the Maccabees, that all the Black people was getting pushed down, and the Egyptians and the Hebrew Israelites and the Ethiopians all were fighting together against the white man. That's how the Hebrews ended up in Ethiopia. That's how you got Black Falasha Jews in Ethiopia today, because they don't want to show us the part in these scriptures that's in the book of the Maccabee Bible that show where all us Black people, when they kept pushing us down, we all was fighting them. And then they finally got into Africa and conquered us. So the Bible is showing, especially the New Testament, is showing the preview to the invasion of Africa, and we don't even know it.
All right. Shout out to my girl, Lacka Black, in the building. Peace to my queen. Peace to my sister. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name and where you calling from? Peace to your family. What's your name? Where you calling from? Peace, you there?
This is Apostle.
All right, what's going on, Apostle?
I'm looking for the smoke, man. I'm looking for the smoke. I'm coming hard and direct.
All
yes,
right.
sir.
Let's go, man. Let's go. No cursing, no profanity.
Number one, the prophet said, I got to turn this TV down, man.
Turn it down in the back. Turn it down in the back.
All right. Okay, listen here now.
Uh-oh.
Number one, I'm coming with the smoke.
That's right.
I'm coming to Genesis in the chapter 9, where Noah got drunk and Ham came in, saw his father, went out, told his brothers. His brothers came in, turned backward, and covered their father. Mm-hmm. Now, what did Ham do in order for Cain to be cursed by Noah? Ham ain't do really, well, Cain ain't do nothing. If you turn with me to the book of Leviticus, we'll find out what happened.
Brother, we ain't gonna be too long, brother. I just need you to
ask your question, brother. I just want to refute what he said.
Well, hold on a minute.
Okay?
Take a pause.
I want to refute it.
Hold on, take a pause. I'm going to show you something first. Here you go.
Let
take
him-
a pause. First place you lose at is Noah shouldn't have been drunk naked in front of his kids in the first place. So you lost. I dogged you out with just that quick. Noah was drunk, sloppy drunk, and naked in front of his kids. So he was a loser off the top. Okay? Don't try to go all the way to the kids. What the hell was Noah doing drunk, sloppy, naked in front of his kids? So let's take the story. Okay, then. So he ain't qualified to curse nobody. He's a drunk bum. Noah's a drunk
I'm just
in front of his
talking
kids. Hey,
Listen,
case
son,
closed.
I'm
Case closed.
64 years old. I'm 64 years old. I've been studying this book for 42 years.
Yeah, but you just lost in 2 seconds,
so I'm no newcomer. I'm no newcomer to this book.
All right, so
Just
ask your
lost
question,
in 2
brother.
seconds.
I want you to ask your question so we can move on.
Yeah, ask your question, but you already got defeated already.
Number one, Solomon did not say, I'm black but comely. That was the Shulamite woman that said that. Number two, the reason why this book is called a Bible, because the word by means twofold. Old Testament, New Testament. It is a collection of books.
Right.
And Matthew did talk about Isaiah. If you look at Matthew in the first chapter, when it talks about the birth of Christ, he's quoting Isaiah. Second of all, the Bible does not teach us to read it. The Bible teaches to study it. That's a difference from reading it. The Bible says study to show yourself approved.
The Bible don't say that. A certain book say that. Bro, the Bible don't say that. A certain book in the Bible say that. Get your facts straight.
Well, okay.
Okay, so you lost again. Being two down. Two down.
In the Bible.
One more mistake and you done.
The 400 years that you're talking about of silence is when the book of Apocrypha, that's when the Apocrypha books were written. Most of them. I'm talking about the second Ezra. I'm talking about Daniel and Baal.
Read them.
Talking
Read
about
all
those Apocrypha books
read them.
written between that 400 years.
I read them.
Okay? All right? Jesus was not crucified on a Friday. He was crucified on a Wednesday.
You there, brother? You there? Come on. Your phone. You still there? Where you at, brother? Where you at?
I mean, he might as well be gone. He done lost already.
All right.
When he said Moses was drunk, case closed. Moses was drunk.
All right.
what more is this?
As you can see, you still on the phone, so I'm showing you.
No, I'm still on the phone.
There you go.
I'm still on the phone. This brother does not know what he's talking about.
All right, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm gonna have to let you go, brother.
Hey,
just
let me make one point. Let me make one point, man.
Go ahead, hurry up, man.
Let me make one point.
Go ahead.
All right. He can look in the New Testament, in the book of John, in the book of Mark. It has the last days of Christ. And the reason why Christ's body you can't define, because his body is not on this earth. He was resurrected. But in the book in the New Testament, you can find the days.
So hold on.
Crucified.
So the reason why you can't find Christ's body, because he was resurrected and taken where, sir?
He was taken away. Listen, I believe.
No, I asked you, he was taken.
Well, hold on. Let me interrupt you for a minute. Hold on, brother. I wasn't just talking about Christ. I was talking about Moses. You know, people ask about all the figures in the Bible. So I wasn't talking about Christ.
Moses was buried by angels.
Listen, I wasn't talking about just one. I was talking about the Hebrews in general. People want to know where the Hebrew bodies is, and I'm just saying that they didn't preserve bodies. That's all I'm saying, brother.
All right. Where was Jesus? Hold on. Where was Jesus taken, though, brother, so we could have clarity?
Well, he was taken up into the heavens. I believe it was a spaceship that caught him up.
Oh, you believe it?
And so you're saying right now that he's up in the heavens still right now to the day?
I believe he's where he was intended to be all the time, where he came from,
and you said,
right at the right hand of the Father.
And you said you was how old, brother?
I'm 42 years old, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you, my brother.
No. I'm 64. I've been studying this book for 42 years. I was born in 1955.
Well, much respect to you still, brother, because you my elder, so respect.
Peace to you, brother.
Say what?
I said you my elder, brother. I said you my elder, brother, so I still respect you older than me. So much respect. I always respect people older than me. So much respect.
Peace, brother. We're gonna move
right,
on. Thank
cool.
you, brother.
I don't.
All right. Hey, I told you, man, they watching. He tried to call in. Let me call him back. I told you they on the lurk. They watching you, brother Pharaoh. So we got one of your babies calling in. We're gonna see what's up.
I want to hear what my son got to say.
No.
All right, brother Unc, you tried to call in. I'm here with brother Pharaoh. What's happening, brother?
What up, Unc?
I'm trying to figure out what brother Pharaoh got. What problem he got with them?
No, he ain't got no problem with y'all. He was just breaking it down. He was going in. He said the Amen-Ra squad is really, y'all really serving the devil and don't know it, because Amen means what? If I let Pharaoh break it down. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
That the Amen over here is I turn up, Amen down. The Amen was the church. Amen was the Christian church of the day. And you had to go through the priest to get everything done. So, you know, when you see people that's under Amen going against the Christian church, that's crazy, because they birthed that whole idea. This is why the Christians say what after they pray? What the Christians say after they prayers, huh?
Amen.
Amen. All right. And they got that demonic stuff from Amen. They got it from the house of Amen, the demonic house of Amen. Because the demonic house of Amen used to force black people to say Amen if they wanted to pray in Kemet. If you wanted to pray under them, you had to bow down to their God, or they wouldn't let you pray to your own God. So Hebrews and everybody that was under slavery in Kemet, which is the first Babylon, which is the first place to have black people in slavery, which is the first place that took all black people's land, right? And dogged out their own people. For people to pray any kind of way, you had to bow to the wicked concept of Amen. So Amen is demonic. I'm Elaton. I turn up.
Let me say this.
Down.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Let me speak this.
Go ahead.
First of all, Amen in the Christian prayer and in the Bible is so deep. It's at the end of the prayer. That's not the same Amen that you can hit in 4 times. It's just in English kind of confusing. Second point, you can look through all Egyptian history. They routinely had foreign gods in the pantheon. You can find Canaanite prayers, Babylonian prayers, all types of stuff in the pantheon Egyptian deities. So I don't. Third point, I'm in America. I'm an African American, and I simply named it after Amen-Ra. Simply, it's a research team. So it has nothing to do with our cultural practice, none of that. I'm an ADOS, Black African Power. So the name is just a name. It ain't got nothing to do with what we work for.
Yeah, I was just jabbing.
Most people don't.
I was just jabbing you. I was just jabbing you.
All right, okay. I know you was. I ain't tripping. What?
I was just having fun.
The point is, most people on the squad practice traditional African systems like spaghetti and the saw and them. We die, he don't practice them. I still don't practice them. Dr. Oyamayat, I don't know what you practice, right? But I know we don't practice Egyptian religion at all. Which has been dead for the last 500 years, now whatever. But I know you was jabbing. I just want to call a nigga say it. I don't believe in none of that though, bro.
Hey, you all good. But the priests under Amen were demonic and did abuse the people. That's a fact. The priest. I ain't saying that the pharaohs, I'm not saying the pharaohs, but the priests tried to overpower, the priests of the house of Amen overpowered the pharaohs and took over the country. Same with the priests in Rome and the priests in England. Priests have been known to overpower politicians and governments and be corrupt under God. So the house of Amen is reason for the fall of Kemet. They totally ruined Kemet and abused the black people within Kemet. And that's why they was cursed. That's why Kemet was cursed. And that's why a lot of us is over here. According to the teacher Sun Ra, 85% of black people in America are Egyptians.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of spooky ass to me.
All right.
I don't do nothing. All right, man. Peace.
All right, man.
All right, Pharaoh, you want to say anything before any more callers call in?
Yeah, I want to say that Egypt, after they collected all of this grain and the new Pharaoh came in there, they started taking people's land to eat. And that was the first time a government owned your land, and that's the first property taxes come from Kemet. They took that blessing they got from Joseph and robbed their own people and took everything from their own people. The original sin of black people come from Kemet. Kemet was the first place that let us down. Homosexuality, corruption, all type of abuses was going on there. It was horrible, Sarnetta. It really was. And that set the tone for the total Africa to fall. All right, go ahead.
All right, peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, hey, my name is Priest. I'm calling from DC.
All right. Do you have a question for the brother?
Yeah, I caught the piece, Brother Sarnetta. Appreciate your work, first of all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Just a quick question for the brother.
Right.
Considering that the Old Testament is at best Jewish myth and at least Jewish history, why should it be applied to the rest of the world as far as why should we care about any of its content in relationship to that? It's a tribal document.
Well, the term Jew comes from when 3 tribes broke away from the rest of the Hebrew Israelites, and the main tribe was Judah. And you know how black people is, we're going to shorten the term. So instead of saying Judites, we call those 3 Jews. So Jew is black. The rest was Hebrew. The Hebrews wanted to be like the white man and follow the Greeks and follow the Romans. So Judah and 2 other tribes broke away, and the term Jew come from that. So if you're asking why should black people be interested in Judaism, it's because we created Judaism. A lot of people try to use Dr. Ben, but Dr. Ben never, and I'm one of the people that booked him. Hello. Because originally Dr. Ben was on cassette tapes, and we used to listen to him on cassette tapes, and we said, let's bring this brother to town so people could see him. So originally, we were those people. And Dr. Ben did never teach us to war against each other. Dr. Ben taught the African origins of the 3 major Western religions, and always showed how we started all of that. Dr. Ben taught that St. Augustine was black, that Constantine was black. So a lot of brothers ain't even honoring Dr. Ben like they say they are. They're not honoring Ben. Ben never taught there was no division. Ben taught that white people stole, and Arabs stole Islam from us, stole Judaism from us, and stole Christianity from us. That's what Dr. Ben, the African origin of the 3 major Western religions. Muhammad's grandfather was a Coptic. Muhammad's grandfather was a Coptic Egyptian, was an Ethiopian Coptic priest. And so these things are ours. So this is why black people should study these things. All knowledge in this world is black people's, that people have taken from us and watered it down and scattered it all out and stole it. So that's why I say black people should read everything, because you listen, black people, don't believe nothing. Just read it.
Let the brother ask his question.
Okay, go ahead, brother. What's your question?
So I noticed that you said your name was El Aten, and so I'm wondering if you ascribe to the theory that the Jewish people are simply the ousted priests of Aten, of Akhenaten.
No. Akhenaten was Moses. Akhenaten's sister was Joseph's sister. Akhenaten's mother was Joseph's sister. Amenephis got, okay, you want it? You want it? Here you go. Amenephis married a Hebrew. Amenephis married a Hebrew and got her pregnant. They built a city for the son. He's the real Moses, by the way. Akhenaten was Moses. They built a city, and they had to hide the baby because they didn't like the fact that Amenephis had married this Hebrew woman. And his mother, which was Joseph's sister, taught Akhenaten about the one God theory. That's why Akhenaten got the one God theory from his mother. This was the combination between the Kemetics and the Hebrews. Where blood is already mixed. So they raised him in the way, his mother raised him in the knowledge of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because at this time, the Egyptians had fell off and had become corrupt. So Akhenaten grew up, he's Moses. He's the real story of Moses. He was hid away from the rest of the people. Look it up. This is a fact. This is stuff that's not even out here. He was hid. His mother was a Hebrew Israelite. His mother was Joseph's sister. Back in the day, we used to study like this, Sarnetta. We would get out our books and we would line our books up. And what we would do is we'd line our books up and we would go by timelines. So we would take the timeline of Kemet, the timeline of the Hebrews, everybody timeline. And I always, back when I was young, I couldn't figure out why Moses and the Kenneton timeline kept matching. I'm like, dang, these timelines keep matching, but it doesn't show where they had any connection. It wasn't until I did further studying to find out that that's what the case was. And that's the reason that the Egyptians hated him so much, because his mother was a Hebrew Israelite. It wasn't, and that's why he tore down all the temples and he built the one God ideology, saying that you don't have to go through a priest like the churches teach you. You don't have to go to church to be a good man. You don't have to go to church to not sleep with your brother's wife, to not kill your brother. Everybody want to criticize the Bible, but let me ask you something. The Ten Commandments say thou shalt not kill. True or false? The Ten Commandments say thou shalt not steal. The Ten Commandments say thou shalt not steal. True or false?
True.
The Ten Commandments say thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. So what's wrong with those laws?
Yeah, but in the Bible, it kills more people than anybody else in the damn world, though, Pharaoh.
Because the Bible's not a religious book. The Bible is a historical book of what actually happened. So the people don't live by the positive things said in the Bible. The Bible is a study of a lineage of people and what they actually did. So if you did corruption, if you did murder, all of that was documented. That's what I'm trying to teach them, Sal. The Bible's not a religious book. The Bible is a historical book following the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's
but
not
how can the Bible be a historical book without no dates and time? It's not giving chronology. It's not telling you nothing. It's not really telling you.
It doesn't have dates and time, because in the period where they was doing that, they wasn't keeping records like we was. They wasn't doing that. We're in 2020. So our ideology on how people should have did things is based on how we come up. You know, it's like my kids don't understand a rotary phone. They don't understand that. They're internet. So they wasn't keeping dates and times like that. When Moses wrote Genesis, he was writing an old story that people used to tell. So when you read Genesis, y'all, you don't have to believe it. All you have to believe is this is the stories that were going around at that time. You don't have to believe in the story. So that's what I'm trying to teach y'all knowledge. So when you read Genesis, you're just reading what they used to say. You see, what I'm trying to tell y'all? So
all right, thank you, brother.
So
let
Moses,
me let you go, brother. All right.
Moses kept us the knowledge on the stories that was told at that time. And if Moses didn't record those stories, we wouldn't know that that's what they used to say. That's all it is. Yeah.
All right. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jeremiah Judah, the People's Champ.
Oh, shit. The People's Champ, Jeremiah Judah in the building. What's up, Jeremiah? You got any questions for the big brother?
Yeah, I do. And this is very refreshing that you got somebody on here that finally know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate this, Starnetta.
Go ahead, brother.
And what I would like to ask the brother, when you said something about the Maccabees, would you say that they were blacks or were they white people?
They was black. The Maccabees is a story of black people that got together after they fought all of us, and we got together for one last war. Yeah.
Right. And I agree with that too, but we got these people out here with this spread this misinformation over at the Dagger Squad that's teaching the people that he's white. So I'm so glad that we got another brother on here besides me and Black Jesus Minister that's trying to bring this truth. And one more thing before I get off the air, we have a sorcery. It's called a sorcery boxing where we put our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean that's am I right or wrong, Pharaoh?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so that's where some of our bodies is, because they were like, where the bodies? We carried our bodies away with us. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But and one more thing, I'd like for you to come on me and Black Jesus Minister platform to speak to some of our people, if you don't mind.
Okay, that's good, man. Just hit me up, and again, hit me up at Pharaoh Elatine at Yahoo.
Okay, we will do. And one more thing, Shana, that was a great show last night. But there's one thing that Uncle West said that I gotta ask.
Go ahead.
Uncle West said he said that we split from chimpanzees. Now, when you say that but then you say we didn't come from chimps. So how did we split from chimpanzees? You know what I'm saying? So that's my question to you. Maybe on the next show or something, you can answer that, because when I asked you, do we come from them? You say no, but you slipped out of your mouth last night and you said we split from chimps.
You said it slipped
So I
out of
need to
my
know
mouth?
about it. No, not you, Star. Up west. No. And with that being said, hey, continue great work, Pharaoh, and shout out to Sean on the TV.
All right, peace, brother.
All
right. Garfield is in the woods lurking. He's watching.
Okay.
Garfield said he don't want to call in because you his elder, and he don't want to be rude or disrespectful.
Nah, tell him to call in, man. It's all good. Tell him call
Garfield, call in, Garfield. He said it's all right, brother.
Listen, man, I'm from the streets, man. I ain't know that.
There you go, brother. Call in, Garfield. Let me get Garfield on the line because Garfield probably running and trying to make up an excuse on why he don't want to call in. Pharaoh can handle this, man.
He can call in. But I just want black people to understand that the Bible is just stories about what people used to say. It's not for you to believe it. You just read it and say, oh, this is what they told Moses. So the story of the beginning is whatever they used to tell Moses. It's like if Sinetta telling stuff happening in New York right now, it's in a book, here's what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. We're going to get Garfield on. Hey, peace and black power to my brother Garfield in the building. What's up, Garfield?
Why you setting me up for failure, man? I don't know. Why you doing this?
Hey, Garfield, big up yourself, man. You know, see.
Oh, he got to throw in the Jamaican accent. What's up?
Yeah, boy. Man, I'm sick of Rasta. Now I'm turn Rasta upon you, boy. Now turn Rasta upon you. No.
Oh, man. I just want to say that everything you said, you was right and exact in what I believe 25 years ago. You were right and exact. That's what I'll say. You were right and exact. Now, where you at right now is where I was 25 years ago. I don't have no problems with you, Elder. I love your tie. I love your hat. I got to wear one of those for the debate with Jabari. And I want to say that keep teaching. And if people feel that Pharaoh is telling the truth, hey, he's telling the truth. I ain't got nothing. I mean, come on. If we want to go into it, I got to go into scriptures and prophecy. I'm not going to do that, man.
You should come get this smoke, though.
No, Elder, I'm scared. I'm running. I don't want no peace.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Elder, why do you call yourself Pharaoh and you're teaching the Bible? That's what I want to know. Why you call yourself Pharaoh?
Well, check this out. I call myself Pharaoh, and I'm not really teaching the Bible. I'm teaching knowledge.
Oh, okay.
All things. Right. So whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bible or whatever, I'm going to teach the overall knowledge of it from a person that's not in it. So most people, they want to believe that I'm into the Bible because I'm teaching the Bible. I'm not Christian. I read the book with no religious affiliation. And that's how I got the knowledge of it. When I moved to Hawaii and living in the hills growing marijuana, I said, let me read this for myself with an open mind. Because when you go through black consciousness, you reject the white man, so you reject the Bible. So after I rejected the Bible and I read it after rejecting it with an open mind, I couldn't believe what I was seeing in there. I was like, why nobody told me none of this stuff? There's so much stuff in there that if you read it, God, I'm telling you, get you a Gideon Bible with no religious affiliation and read it for yourself. It's gonna blow your mind.
All right, let me address something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you have one prophecy that you could say Garfield, turn to this and let's look. Let me bring up my screen. Can you give me a scripture and a prophecy that I could go and look at right now? Because I got a bunch of prophecies that didn't come true, but I'm not here to challenge you. Yeah. I would like to be on your side. I want to see what you're seeing. Not about a debate. I want to see what the elder is seeing so I could come into your life. Right. All right? Can you give me one prophecy that actually came true?
Yeah, in the last days, men will look like women, women look like men.
No, give me a scripture. Give me a scripture.
Oh man, I haven't pulled up scriptures since the 80s, so I haven't memorized all. No, seriously, all the Bible scripts, I used to remember them and all that. I haven't remembered in years, but it's in there. But I tell people all the time, the only important book of the Bible today is the book of Revelation, talking about the caste of society and how no matter what y'all talking, the real ones ain't gonna take the microchip and the fake gonna take that microchip. So see, all this gonna come to a head because the fake is gonna take that microchip and the real Kemetic and the real Muslims and the real Hebrews, we're not gonna take it. And the
All right,
fake,
real quick.
Y'all gonna take that microchip.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Garfield, Pharaoh is saying that the Maccabees are black people. You said that the Maccabees are white people.
No, actually, no. What happened is they found a specimen of a human skull, a specimen of the skull, just like how they did for the people in Lachish in Judah.
All right.
And what they did when they checked the brain cranium, they said it's more European looking than African looking.
Okay.
So I didn't say that. That's what the science said.
And I'm not saying that the Maccabees.
Hold on. By the way, the name Maccabees is a Greek name.
I'm not saying that the Maccabees are black. I'm saying that the book of the Maccabees is about the black people fighting together against the Europeans. The book of the Maccabees shows where the Egyptians and the Ethiopians and the Hebrews fought together the last war before they got in there and they was killing Christ and all them. So that's the section between the Old and the New Testament that shows between the Old and the New Testament is we was trying to hold them off, and we all started fighting together. So that's not promoted to keep this division between Hebrews and Ethiopia. Everybody's divided. But there was a time as whites started coming down more and more, it was a time that all men was on deck and we was all fighting, trying to keep them from come down. But they were more technically advanced than us, and they were into making weapons, and we was into beating drums and dancing. So the white man was into making weapons, making bullets, making Gatling guns, making cannons, and we still had spears. If you look at Haile Selassie, his father, Ras McConnell, they beat the Italians the first time, but they kept them same guns. And then Mussolini came back with tanks. So there was no match because the black man is too busy philosophizing and he ain't got no guns. And no guns, no glory. When people say, what you teach, Pharaoh? I teach no guns, no glory. If you want to know my particular teaching, no guns, no glory. I don't teach the black. I teach bang, bang, boogie that you got to fight and you got to stand up as a black man and unite and you got to fight. That everything we lost through force. We didn't lose nothing from no Bible. We lost with the Gatling gun. They couldn't beat the African warrior with the musket gun. They said they charging too fast. We used to charge them and overpower them. So the white man went back and made a gun you could crank up. And he created a truck to put on. Now, if you got 1 million bullets, that means somebody sat down and did the manufacturing to make 1 million bullets. Somebody manufactured the gun. Somebody manufactured the tank. Somebody manufactured the truck to take care of it. So we got to get into manufacturing. We got to get into business and factories. And we have to start manufacturing our own automobiles. That way we can convert these factories into making weapons. It all comes down to fighting at the end of the day. And if you're divided, you're not going to fight, okay? And the black man is too divided, arguing over stuff that's irrelevant.
All right, let's let Garfield get the last word. Go ahead, Garfield.
Yeah, I was going to say that with the Maccabees, it's a very interesting history because the Maccabees actually tricked. Remember, you had the Ptolemies and you had the Seleucid Empire, right? Yeah, and what happened is the Ptolemies and the Judeans that lived, remember they were enslaved by Alexander the Great. You go to Joel 3:6, right? So the Ptolemies freed them. The Ptolemaic Greeks freed them, and they were cool with the Judeans in Alexandria. But what happened now is that the Seleucid Empire under Antiochus Epiphanes, he wanted to attack Egypt and take over and all that different stuff. So he became an enemy of the Judeans. Right. He wanted to take over the Ptolemies, wherever they controlled and all that stuff. So there was a fighting going on between them, and the Jews were caught in between. And the Jews, what he did though, son, and this is a true story, he went inside the temple in Judea and put a pig, sacrificed a pig in the Jewish temple, which was totally disrespectful to the Jews. So the Jews, what they did was they reached out with the Romans. And the Romans, they couldn't deal with the Romans. They said, if you help us to defeat the Seleucid Empire, we will let you guys control us. So they did an okie doke. They put an okie doke on the Romans. So the minute they beat up the Seleucid Empire, they said, nah, y'all ain't gonna rule us. And the Judeans were free and were in control of their own empire for the first time.
Okay, so I see why we don't agree because you're in the wrong time period. I'm talking after the Old Testament. You're talking like Alexander. I'm talking Pontius Pilate.
Elder, hold on, Elder.
Yeah, go ahead.
Elder, hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. So this was around 164 BC. And after 164 BC to around 63 BC, the Judeans ruled. That's when a lot of the writings in the Bible happened. So they had actually controlled the text. So you see Ezekiel popping up, you see Daniel popping up, you see all these books popping up at that time period because they finally rule. And that's what they have Hanukkah for and all this celebration that they have regarding that. So that's all I'm going to end with.
Okay, that's good.
Nice speaking to you.
All
Nice
right.
speaking to you, Elder.
All right, yeah, man. We'll have to chop it up sometime.
I don't know, but hey, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, we can chop it up.
All right, thank you, Garfield. Peace.
All right, peace and love.
All right.
Yeah, I know what he's saying, but it was Moses the one that brought the white people down. That's a whole nother story. Moses delivered them out of the Caucasus Mountains. So who else?
All right. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Power to the people.
Peace.
Right.
What's your name? Where you calling from? Uh-oh, Mindy in the building. Uh-oh, we got that firecracker here now. What's going on, Mindy? Be good now.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
It's good, sister. Good to hear from you.
I'm
How
good.
are you, brother?
We good.
I got some questions for the elder.
Go ahead.
I hear him spitting about the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
but from the teachings that I get from Brother Sinetta and all the brothers about kinetic science and Timbuktu and everything, all of this stuff was well into play before 1200 through 125 BC when the Bible was created. The originators of the Bible was only leadership that tried to give stories, and they have this listed in the scripted areas of the Bible, stating that all of the information in here is only from man-made visions or man-made ideas that was placed together in order to enslave the black man. The Bible was originated for Hebrews, Greeks, Jews, and all of that. We are not those people. Judaism and all of this stuff is not created by black people. We had things like Ephod, Atlanta, Awa, voodoo, hoodoo. There were so many different things that was out there that came from Timbuktu and the Kemetic scientists. So what I'm trying to figure out, if the Bible was scripted for black people, then where in any of their texts or documentation of what the Bible was written for states anything about Africans or black people? Another thing that I have a problem with, if we know that in slavery that our elders were beaten and put into positions in order to teach us these things, to enslave the mind of the black child in order for us to walk and follow slavery and now become volunteer slaves, why is it today in 2019 that our elders are still pushing the enemy's word on us and trying to make believe that this book some kind of way is speaking on black people? So those are the questions that I want to ask. The Bible is not written for black people, and it never has been. This is for the slave holders and the slave catchers. Now, if we want to talk about the Sambo black people and all of the people that eventually became leaders for slaughtering their people like Moses, then we can deal with that. We can say that they're black people, but I just don't see anywhere in their texts, in the description or the writings or even the leadership of the people that create these books have anything to do with referencing black people or our heritage and culture and where we come from.
All right. Thank you, sister. Thank you. I'm going to let him go in now. Appreciate it. All right.
The question is being asked as if the Bible's one book, so the question is off. She said our people was taught the Bible. No, our people was taught specific verses from specific books. And so our people were not taught the Bible. So she's incorrect there. She says the Bible was written, there is no such thing as the Bible. Those books were not written at the same time. So the idea that the Bible was written at the same time, that's not true. The Old Testament, many of those books was written way before the books in the New Testament. So when you look at the Bible as one book and somebody takes a verse out that book and has you as a slave and chants a verse out that book, then you blame the whole book, rather than the fact somebody took a verse out of a particular book within a bunch of books and misquoted that to the people. And so you don't know what happened to you and how you were tricked with the book unless you read the book. You have to read the book, then you say, dang, this sucker took this part out and said this and didn't read the rest. In many cases, if you take small parts of verses that preachers are saying in church, and if you go home and read the whole thing, you'll see that the preacher was full of it. That the little part he read out of it is totally out of context. And so that's what was done with the Bible. Verses were taken out of context and told to the slaves. As a matter of fact, sister, there's some black people that put together a slave book of the specific verses that were misused to enslave us. So the whole book gets the blame for these verses, but as I keep saying, the book of Numbers don't even talk anything like that. So if somebody takes a verse out of a book from the New Testament, you're going to blame the book of Numbers that has no teaching, to just say he was born, he lived 800 years. Then he was born, he lived 600 years. Then he was born, he lived 500 years. So we're taking little small excerpts that people are misusing, and we're blaming the whole book. But what I want to say to the sister, until she reads it for herself, she cannot consider herself intellectually a scholar to debate this with me, because she's talking about something that she ain't read. Mm-hmm. And in scholarship, in any school, to discuss a book, you gotta read it. So come back when you've read the whole book, sister, and then we'll have this conversation. But as far as you not reading the book, you unqualified to question me. You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't read it. You're talking out the blue. You're talking black conscious rhetoric from a bunch of other people that haven't read the book, that's blaming the whole book for the philosophy and ideology that people take, that people have taken our stuff and flipped our stuff around and chanted stuff to us to keep us down. And so we don't want to read it for ourselves to even see how this was done. So without reading it, you can't even see how they really actually manipulated you with your own stuff.
All right, peace and Black Power family. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Black Elephant calling from Brooklyn.
You said Black Elephant?
That's right.
Yeah, that's positive. Save the
What's
elephant.
going on, my brother? What's going on?
What's good, sir? How are you, bro?
Everything is good, brother. What's happening?
So my man says that it's a history book. What happened to where were the Jews or the Hebrews when the Greeks came and took over, and when the Persians came and took over? That's number one. Number two, I'd like
took over what? Took over what?
Took over what, brother?
Took over ancient Kemet. Took over Egypt. Remember, 323 BC, 332 BC, the Greeks came.
All right, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Right? If we're going to talk about history, let's talk about history, right? And so history, we know that the Hellenization of the Greeks took place of everywhere they took over.
Whoa. Wait, I got to stop you for a minute. I said it's the history book of the Hebrews. I didn't say it was a history book. So don't try to slick me, because I've been doing this. So you come on here, you say the brother says history. I didn't say that. I said it's the history of the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I didn't say what you just tried to slick over on me. So you got to come better than that, bro. I'm a master. Listen, I'm a master teacher. So what you did in front of the people, you took my words out. Hold on. You took my words out of context to try to run a fast one on me. Now you got to get the smoke.
All right,
I never said it was a history book. I never said it was a history book.
All right, Pharaoh. All right, he got you.
Hold on.
Pharaoh.
I just want to get him straight. Because you said this history, we're talking about history. Well, history is the Civil War.
Brother, can I speak? Brother, can I speak?
In context.
Can somebody else speak?
In context.
All right, go
ahead. You can't misquote me, though. You can't misquote.
All right, let him go. Go ahead, brother.
Come on, have some discipline, Pharaoh. Let's go. Let's do it.
You cannot misquote me, bro.
You said Akhenaten was the real Moses, right? And that was 1300 BC, right?
Was it?
So where did the Hebrews disappear to?
Oh my God.
Where did the Hebrews disappear to for those 1300 years until the Greeks come and until the Persians come? And where did the Hebrews disappear to? And what happens, what happens to Hebrews under Hellenization? Where does Hellenization take place in the Hebrew culture, right? Because it takes place in every other culture, right? And then also,
I want to ask you, after the Hellenization, if we look, just to bring this up, if you even just look up the timeline, the war timeline of Egypt, they'll tell you that it took 700 to 800 years for them to displace Egyptian religion, not Hebrew, not Judaic, not any other religion. It took the Greek 300 years, and then it took the Romans 300 years, 350 years. So where are the Hebrews, right? And so all this talk about the Hebrews, we have the Europeans of both cultures of Greek and Roman taking our religion from us and displacing Africans and Egyptians from their natural religion, which is Egyptian religion. You can look it up. Look it up. You can even just Google it. I can give you some books to look it up. But we can't be taking this Bible anymore. This Bible, you got to let go of this Bible, brother, because there's no female energy.
What's your last name, brother? What's your last name? What's your last name? Your real last name?
Elephant.
No, that's not your real last name. See, you got a slave name, but you're talking about let go the white man. Your name ain't Elephant. Your name John Johnson, John Jackson. Many of you blacks that hate the Bible and want to get rid of the white man, y'all name Jackson, y'all name Robinson, y'all name Smith. So let's keep it a billion. You want to get rid of the white man? Get rid of the slave name and stop playing with me.
Are you going to answer any of the questions? Are you going to answer?
I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question. You said, where did the Hebrews go? First, you don't know what you're talking about because the Hebrews wasn't an established nation. Therefore, they wouldn't have an established religion. Bingo, first one down. How they going to have an established religion if they're not established religions? You compared them to the Romans, which was an established society with builders.
Hold on, brother. You got to let Pharaoh talk.
You want me to answer? You want me to answer or not?
You got to let him answer, brother. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
He compared the Hebrews with the Romans. The Romans had an established country with established buildings and the established ideology. The Hebrews were nomadic. So there was no established religion to get rid of. Kemet, an established nation with established buildings and cities. So that's the only way you have an established religion, if you have an established city. Greeks, established. Hebrews, nomadic. So you're talking about where they go. They never was nowhere, bro. The Hebrews never was nowhere to go nowhere. So you don't make sense. The Hebrews were nomadic. They didn't have big cities and big temples. Name the big, great Hebrew city. All you smart brothers out there. Name the big, great Hebrew city. You say, where the Hebrews at? Where's their buildings? Where's their city? Name me a big Hebrew city. The Hebrews were always wandering. They was in the desert with Moses wandering. The Hebrews never had a land or an established city. Therefore, they couldn't have an established religion. Therefore, if you want to compare them to established nations, you got to go back to school and come holler at me when you get your game up, when you're really ready for the big leagues. Because what you was talking about was totally illiterate. You was comparing established nations with nomadic people. So, bro, go sit down with that. You know what I'm saying? It's the big leagues. I keep telling you, listen, y'all, it's the big boys. Okay? This go for the brother, the Caribbean brother too. Anytime you want to really get that smoke, he can come get it, because that Maccabee stuff he said was totally off. And what the brother said was totally off. The Hebrews are not an established nation and should not be compared to Greeks or Romans or even Ethiopia. See, Ethiopia is an established nation. Therefore, you still see the relics of Ethiopia. Show me the relics of the Maasai warrior. Where's the Maasai warriors building? I rest my case, excuse me, son. Where's the Maasai warriors building? They're nomadic, bro. So they'll never have a building. So the closest thing we know today of the Hebrews is people like the Maasai and people like that. Not every nation back then didn't have established, even the Arabs were not established originally. They were nomadic. They didn't get established until they took Kemet from us. And they took Egypt. They never had a country. So we keep comparing unestablished people that was nomadic to nations. And that confuses me. There was no Hebrew Israelite nation, bro. So what are you talking about? I know you're trying to sound smart, but it's the big leagues. Got to tie your laces up. Got to do your push-ups. Got to drink your vegan shake before you come over here with the God, bro. This is the big league. You got to know your stuff because I'm going to check you in the door. Because right off, you was on some fake stuff tomorrow. You're talking about history. I didn't say history. History is the Civil War. History is the Revolutionary War. History is a big word, could be anything. I said that the Bible is the history and follows the lineage of the people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they trace Christ all the way back through them. They trace Solomon all the way back through them, and they trace Emperor Haile Selassie back to him too, if you want to get that smoke. If you want to get the smoke about Menelik and the Queen of Sheba and Rastafari, you get that smoke too, because y'all don't believe that either, that black man in Ethiopia was a descendant of King Solomon. And that's why Rastafari is so powerful, because it's proof that Christ is black, because that lineage comes all the way through, and it went to Ethiopia, because Sheba went and had that baby by Solomon, and brought that baby back to Ethiopia, and that baby went and stole the Ark of the Covenant and took it to Africa. So our history now, the Hebrews is in Africa. The Falasha, that's where they at, bro. Do you know anything about the Falasha, about the Beta Jews? Do you know about the Jews in West Africa? Did I just say that? You know about the Ibu and now? Go study, bro. The Jews are here. We are all of those things. We are the original Muslim, the Asiatic black man. That's what Elijah was trying to teach y'all. They took all of this stuff and they watered it down, and white people stole all of our heritage. They're practicing Judaism, which is practicing what you are. They have taken your stuff. This is why Israel invited the Falasha from Ethiopia to come in Israel so they could study them, Sinetta, and steal their stuff. They gonna be Egyptians, white people Egyptians now, white people is Jesus, white people is everything now. Y'all don't see that? So if white people stealing and gonna say they the God of Kemet, what make you think they didn't steal all your stuff? Everything they say they are, we used to be that. We was the original Muslim. We was the original Jew. We was the original Christian and all of that. We original man. We created all these religions, including Krishna. He ain't blue, he was black, okay? They stole all that from us. Buddhism and all that was black. Every religion on this planet, the original people that did it was black. Before these other people, these religions were established before the continent split and everybody turned all these funny colors. We've been established this stuff. Everything on this planet is black. And every book wrote got black stuff in it. Yes, it's been tampered with, but y'all black. So when y'all read the Bible, y'all gonna see the false stuff. It's false stuff in it, but you're gonna see it. You're gonna read it, you're gonna be like, okay, wait a minute. So Cain had meat, and Abel had meat, and Cain had vegetables. And God came and took the meat and left the vegetables. Yeah, all right. Flip that story around. So what I'm trying to teach y'all is when you read the story and it's false, flip it. And then you're going to get the truth. Flip it and say, no, God came and took the vegetables and left the meat. See, here go McDonald's in them. See, the truth is in the lie. The truth is in the lie, black people. The Bible got your truth in there. You got to relax. Get everything out your mind. Do not believe it. Everybody come to me I'm talking about believe the Bible. I keep telling y'all, don't believe the Bible. See, y'all slow. Don't believe nothing. Remember everything. This is how you become a master teacher. Read it and just remember what it said and save it, because later you'll read something else and then it'll all make sense. So I don't teach people to believe the Bible. I say read it for yourself. Read it thoroughly so you can thoroughly make an honest opinion about what you read. And I'm telling y'all, I would not tell y'all this. The most important thing I ever read in my life was the Bible. I could not believe it, Sinetta. I could not believe all the misinterpretations and how much stuff they do not tell us in there. And if you read it for yourself, you're gonna be pissed at the church. You're gonna be like, what? They don't say none of that stuff. Everything they say to you in the church is to get you to donate money. That's it. They don't read nothing of value in there. None of the stories about family, being a good father, being a good mother, being a good ruler, not being a drunk ruler. Everybody leaves those parts out. The white man wasn't going to read you nothing positive out the Bible. Why would he do that? He's going to take a verse and he's going to defile it and chop it up, and he's going to read you intentionally something out of it. Now, here go a question for y'all if y'all want to really have knowledge. Why did the white man read the Bible to you and take bad parts out the Bible? You know why? Because he knew it was your book. So he knew something inside your DNA. You was gonna believe it because it's your stuff. So what the white man did was took your own stuff and misinterpreted your own stuff back to you. He took a black man and he made him white, unbelievable, and made you worship a white version of a black man. And all over, they got this white man in these churches. And black people say, turn away. It's like Sinetta is 2,000 years from now. Then I make a white Sinetta. Then I put the white Sinetta on the kids. And then they be like, fuck Sinetta, wasn't no Sinetta. See what I'm saying? But the whole time Sinetta was black. But they're gonna make a white one. They're gonna make a white one, and they say all kind of fucked up shit and chop up his videos, right? They can chop up your videos, Sinetta, and have you looking crazy, and then make them white. And so then when we reject the white one, we rejected the real one. That's the game they running on y'all. All right. Yeah.
Hey, I want to say thank you, my brother Pharaoh, for coming over, blessing the platform once again.
Right now.
I want you to close out and let the people know where they can find more of this information at, brother, over there where you at. Let them know. Let the family know. Go ahead,
y'all
brother.
can follow me over there. Pharaoh said that. Check my channel out. I'll be over there a little radical. But the only message I got for y'all is read everything. Don't believe nothing. Okay? Because you cannot, when you're trying to believe stuff, belief is a weird ideology and it'll have you messed up. Just read what stuff say. If Sinetta say something, you don't gotta believe him, but remember what the brother said. Remember what all these brothers say and store it in your memory bank. Sometime when you fight against stuff, you're not gonna be able to gather the information. And
all right, you got the my moderators threw the link of Pharaoh channel in there. Thank you, my brother Max Bird. Click that link. Make sure y'all subscribe to our brother, Big Brother Pharaoh. He goes in, he deal with a lot of topics. So subscribe to Pharaoh and yeah, appreciate that, Max Bird. Thank you.
And y'all remember now, we are one. So do not let people use these things to go against you. A lot of times, y'all black people, y'all say the Christians is lost and the Christians is this and the black Christians ain't that. Well, let me tell you a story. One morning I got up and the catalytic converter off my wife's car was gone. Somebody stole the catalytic converter off her car. Early Sunday morning. I come outside, I see the black people, a lot of the black people going to church. And I came to the conclusion, they didn't steal my catalytic converter. See, y'all want to hate on the black Christians, but I tell you something. If you come to Chirac and you get shot, it won't be no Christian shoot your butt. The black Christians in Chicago are some of the better people, okay? And what y'all doing is y'all overlooking the real problems in the community because the people that's going around raping and killing, they don't go to church at all, okay? These gangbangers and these shooters, they don't go to church. They don't believe in Jesus, Allah, or nothing. So let's keep it all in perspective. Let's not make our brothers and sisters the worst thing in the community. And they be getting money. If you go to y'all always talking about the pastor be robbing black people. Come to Chicago, anybody want to get this work, and I'll take you to some of these black church and you look at the parishioners' cars. They provide jobs. When I got my cases expunged, guess where I had to go to get free services to get my record expunged? To a black Christian church. When I was in jail, in the county jail for 4 months, guess who brought food into the church? Did the Comedics bring food in the church? Is the Comedic community in the neighborhood expunging cases? Is the Hebrews? No. The brothers and sisters in Christianity, they trying to do the best they can with what they got. They're not bad people. And many of them, and many of these churches do not subscribe to white supremacy. This is false. Many of them don't like white people like that. And so don't take nobody that do and try to paint all your brothers and sisters in Christianity like they hate, like they like white people. Because when Obama ran for office, they took a black minister and showed how he didn't like white people to try to ruin Obama at the AME church. It's a lot of brothers militant up in these churches. And Minister Pharaoh can't be up in these churches. So not all of the churches, y'all wrong for painting a big brush on black people, like just because black people go to church, they some sellouts. My father was a church goer. My mother was a church goer, and they never went against black people. The old black people that came up from here in the South that went to church all the time, they had a lot of manners. They didn't abandon their children like you black conscious dudes. They stayed with their wives. They didn't have a bunch of baby mamas. So let's compare you all to the old school Christians. You don't match. So get the facts straight. That the old school Christians that came up here from Mississippi and Alabama, they was way better fathers than y'all, way better mothers than y'all, great providers, and stayed with their wives and stayed with their husbands. What about that? And look at y'all generation. Who's the gayest? Y'all the furthest from the church. Look how gay y'all is. Look how many pills y'all take. Look how much murders y'all doing. Look what y'all doing. Look what y'all doing. Y'all listening to wild stuff all on the radio. Don't respect your grandmothers. Don't respect your elders.
Woo,
listen, a lot of y'all need to go to church. Real talk. And I'll tell you something else. Church is a place to teach the kids to sit down. When my son was little, I used to send him with my father to church because church served a lot of purpose. Teach your kids to sit still and be quiet. So that now when they go to school, they know how to discipline and order. You understand? And if you see a preacher in the neighborhood and he ain't doing good in the neighborhood and you missed the black power and you didn't go do nothing about it, if you saw Rasul Sadi and you didn't go to the church to check the preacher, shut up. Because go check them then. Mr. and Mrs. Super Black. All you super black people, I speak for the city of Chicago. We don't see y'all outside. So y'all need to cut out with the fake. Y'all ain't outside with the big boys. Y'all on the internet talking that talk. But when you go outside in the black community, I don't see none of you, the white man so bad, the Bible so bad. I don't see y'all doing no works in this community, include getting rid of your slave name. The white man is sending you every day. Look at your name. The white man didn't even give you his real last name. He gave you his first name. If Robert owned you, he called you Robert's son. If Jack owned you, he called you Jack's son. If Richard owned you, he called you Richard's son. And many of y'all talking this Bible stuff, y'all is Richard's son, y'all is Jack's son, y'all is Robert's son, y'all Stephen's son. So cut it out. Get rid of your slave name before you come over here with the big dog talking about you trying to peel yourself from the white man. You ain't on my level, Garfield either. I changed my name in 1979, bro. This here go back to 1979, bro. My name, I've been a vegan for 40 years, bro. This is real over here. I put the time in. I was a young boy, 22 years old, and I knew I didn't want no damn slave name. And y'all still got a slave name, but ain't got no Bible. So you against the Bible, but you walking around, with your white slave master name over your thing. Then you marry your wife and give her the slave name. Then you have babies, give your babies the slave name. But then you want to get on the internet and talk about you against the white man in the Bible. But you got a white man name. Come on, man, y'all better cut out with the fake. Get rid of them slave names. How we going into 2020 and we still named that? You tell me. So don't be talking about nobody gonna come get to me, these little boys out here that's using these fake names on the internet won't use their real name. Everybody, I'm Mr. Black 2000 and all of this. You ain't that, bro. When the police pull us over, you is what you is. They love me in Chicago because I did 4.5 months in the county jail. And my name Pharaoh for real. And when the guard come and say Pharaoh, they say, damn, Joe, that's your real name? Yeah, that's my real name. So the vice lord say, almighty then, bro, dang. That's how you get down, yeah. So you call yourself Big Chief Woo Woo and Black 100, but we in the car, you Mr. Super Black, police pull us over, give my license, okay, Pharaoh Ellerton, give him your license, you Johnny Jackson, you Steve Smith, trying to be like me. You're not me. Feel me? Get rid of them slave names. That's what I got to tell y'all. Holla at your boy. You understand? On the phone.
Peace. Thank you, my brother Pharaoh, man.
Appreciate you. Deciding to keep it up.
You already know. Peace and Black Power. We out of here. All right, man. You already know. I see we got a I also want to let y'all know we got a traitor amongst us too, man. Yeah, I'm gonna say we got a traitor amongst us in our moderator system. Somebody I'm gonna find. We're gonna get them out of there too. We're gonna find them. Because somebody said something disrespectful to me, but it was grayed out. And someone went over there and showed the comment. So that right there is a traitor. You can't rock with Sarnetta if you ungrade the comment when they talking smack about your brother. So for someone to do that, we already know that there's a traitor amongst my people that's inside of the moderating system. It's kind of hard to figure them out because I got love for all of them in there. I'm already going to exclude Sister Kaba. I know she wouldn't do that. I'm going to exclude my sister because I know she wouldn't do that. So it's kind of hard to figure out who would do that, but it's all good. I'll let that one go by until I see it happen again. Believe me, I watch my chat room. Y'all think I don't be watching? I watch my chat room a lot. I keep control over that chat room, you know. And so I want to say, yo, peace to everybody. Thank everybody for the donations. Shout out to my moderators, man, for keeping it up. Shout out to you know, all my mods that's in the building, man. Frank Gary's son. Oh, man. We got to get that one out of here because I see they just playing games. And remember, I told y'all that I had opened up the floodgates for the people. I opened it up so I could let people back out. And I'll go in there and get rid of them. Don't worry about it. This one will be in there for like damn near a year before I let him out. So we'll keep this one in there for a year. Yeah, that's how we doing this. Oh, no. I'll leave that Ninja Lee. I'll leave Ninja Lee. Ninja Lee is all right. I'll leave him. He's just saying Frank Gary's son. So that's cool. That I ain't got no hangups on that. I'll leave that. I thought it was somebody else trying to make you know, I got tougher skin than that. Frank Gary's son. That's cool. But anyway, family, I want to say thank y'all for coming through once again. And another powerful show. And we in.
Rhythm. Bang! Bang! Yeah. Well, it's King 9 London signing in. Left blessing, love to Sarnetta University. You see? Middle finger to all the fools who ain't got your testicular foot and choose to walk in the shoes of Sarnetta. Never I never did Sarnetta. You'll never do better. Middle finger to all the fools who ain't got the testicular foot and choose